Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Unification cast this side of your Yorkshire. And today I've got a 2 vs 2 on Chaos Plateau. Playing on Team 1 as the Black Templar, we have got Baltier Roshan, and we have got Yang Wen Li playing as the Harlequins. Whereas on Team 2, playing as the Salamanders, we've got Tesseract, and we have got Dantist playing as the Raven Guard. So exciting for 2 reasons. One, because we haven't seen the Raven Guard for quite some time, and also the Harlequins. And 2, because these are some titans of the Soulstorm multiplayer community. I mean, Yang Wen Li, Baltier Roshan, and who was the last one? Dantist. We've seen these 3 being played a million times on the channel before. Well-known players in the community. Not quite sure who Tesseract is, but, I mean, if he's playing with these boys, then he must have some serious playing chops about him. Now, this is going to be interesting to see the Harlequins going on, their fleet of foot and all that stuff, bouncing around and doing all their usual shenanigans. There's the Raven Guard. They're also quite swift and nimble, as quite a lot of their infantry have got some sprinting mechanics going on about them. The Black Templar get into close combat, get a bit annoyed, and then refuse to leave close combat. The Salamanders, a little bit slower than your average Space Marine, but also a lot tougher and harder hitting. So plenty of things to take into consideration at the moment. I'm also very interested in when the Dawn of War Definitive Edition comes out. Will we see more of these Soulstorm old soldiers start to play more mods like Unification and UA and all that stuff? I know that one big turn-off for a lot of players to play the mods is the fact that stability is a bit of an issue, but as the 64-bit stuff starts coming on out, maybe that will be less of a thing and people will be more likely to play stuff. Oh, there's a great Harlequin going toe-to-toe with the brother captain. Now, I might have misspoke when I said that these guys wear fleet of foot. I don't mean that they've got the fleet of foot ability, I just mean in a general sense they are quite quick. But the Great Harlequin is able to pop down a webway gate that deteriorates over time. Not exactly having a great time against his brother captain by the looks of things, although it does seem that Yang Wen Li is going to go for the jet bike opening for these chaps. Quite cheap at 60 blue and 20 green. Kind of similar to your Dark Eldar bike opening, except for that they can get this on the go a lot quicker. Also, these guys can engage in close combat as well. It does seem that the Crusade Fire Support Squad, backed up by the Castellan, can increase their movement speed, is putting some pressure on those Salamanders. Harlequins will be coming down as well. And I'm quite keen to see how these experienced players can make these factions work. They've got many an idea in the back of their minds, I imagine. They know the Soulstorm game like the back of their hand, but a little bit of difference. A little bit of different factions and different units, and I reckon that these guys can probably spot some stratagems that others might not have noticed. Salamander's attempting to do some stuff. Listening posts, throwing some fire down. That's not exactly what the Black Templar necessarily wants. And the Force Commander, quite heavy hitter in comparison to the Castellan. I mean, Castellan, yeah, he can hit things, but he's, would I say he's a more supporting role? I mean, I suppose he is when he's helping people, although I don't know if he's balanced in such a manner where his supporting role negates some of his outgoing damage, just to make him a bit more in line with everyone else, whether he's overall a better Force Commander. But a big push coming into the base. There's nothing really defensive-wise ongoing for them. We are going to see this listing post being upgraded to help with the defense. The Force Commander will attempt to hold them in place for now, but I don't think he'll be alive for much longer. Over here, the Raven Guard putting pressure on the Relic, and the Harlequins are nowhere to be seen. Oh, they are somewhere to be seen. They're blasting apart this listing post, so Tesseract definitely needs some support from the Raven Guard at the moment. Or is he just going to go in for some base trading shenanigans? They can also get Apothecary in Tier 2 as well, can those Raven Guards, so that does help with their survivability. Good lord, that's a lot of Skyweavers. Even though the Great Harlequin is struggling to stay alive. A concentrated fire from these guys, and even the Salamanders are struggling to stay alive. Plasma generator goes down. Another listing post is soon to be out of play, and the Salamanders have got no army left on Earth. Which, to be fair, you can kind of understand. They've been 2v1'd at the moment. Donation received from the Salamanders. Always helpful.
Yes.
They can't build an army, so may as well give the money to the... You're not called Black Ravens, are you? Oh, no, what are you called? I completely forgot the name of your faction. I mentioned it 5 seconds ago. Raven Guard, that's what you're called. Well, the Salamander's going to get a scout squad out. And actually, not much damage has been done to the Salamander's base. Scouts having access to missile launchers is actually going to spell a real big problem for Yang Wenli. Are you in Tier 2 now? You are in Tier 2, so that will explain why you've got your missile launchers now. Space Marines can only have access to frag missile launchers, whereas the Scouts get the actual proper anti-vehicle missile launchers, so that is a thing to think about. Got some Harlequin troops on the go. They've got the glitter armor. Do you have your jumping upgrade, though? You do need to upgrade these guys quite a lot and invest a fair bit of money into them to be fully useful in close combat. Without that jumping ability, they are a bit shite, to be all honest. So Harlequins, while they are quite deadly once they get going, do require a little bit of investment into them. Listing post has been denied. Second squad of Harlequins on the way. And there is the Dancing of the Flying Blade research. That's their jumping abilities. Once that comes online, these two squads are going to be very, very difficult to deal with. Black Templar laying siege upon the Salamanders, looking to rebuild their Prometheum power generator. No plasma for these guys. No, they've got some serious shenanigans on the go. But they will really need the Raven Guard to do some assistanting. Primaris Scout Marines activating their infiltration research. I do believe it's only temporary. Yeah, it's only a temporary kind of thing. With a couple of blasts, one volley, and that's all it takes. The Skyweavers can tie them up in close combat, so that does make them a little bit more of a pain for the Scouts. There is the more they, them as well. Powerful sniper unit. Should be quite handy at killing these Harlequin troops, as they are only infantry armour. Space Marines over here with the Brother Captain and their plasma pistols also causing some issues. So I really think that the Crusaders, while, yes, okay, they're doing a mighty fine job at cancelling out the Salamanders. I mean, they're just chilling out for now and distracting a lot of the Black Templar. Raven Guard making absolute maximum use out of their infiltration. They can jump in, do some damage, infiltrate, and then sprint away. The old hit-and-run tactics, which I do believe the Raven Guard definitely are one of the better hit-and-run factions in the game, if used correctly. Harlequins dying pretty fast, but the Sword Brethren a bit more tankier. Not nearly as fast, but once they're in combat, the harder to shove off. Good lord, get these Skyweavers away. Once they're down, the batlines can have a bit of space to breathe, but until then, it's going to be a bit hard to get that breathing room. Space Marines just falling back away from the advance of the Black Templar. Very hard to differentiate these boys now. Everyone's wearing black, but the Black Templar, they're shining a bit. That's how we can make sense of this battle at the moment. And yeah, they don't, you know, they've got the charge down, but once they're there, they don't exactly have the necessary damage to really get the job done. And with a lack of infiltration detection, the Morday Den are going to just basically take pot shots off at them all day long. So despite the early game advantage of being practically a 2 versus 1, the Salamanders being friendly and donating money to the Raven Guard has actually... Oh dear, this Skyweaver just coming in, smashing someone right in the face, before then promptly dying himself. Crusade Fire Support Squad arming themselves with plasma guns, now actually doing a fair bit of damage to the Space Marine squads of the Raven Guard. Double frag missile launcher there, knocking them around, soon to get a apothecary, also got infiltrated as well. That'll keep them alive. Scouts on death's door at the moment. And how are the Salamanders doing? They've got a couple of Scout Marines on the go. They've got their Fairness and a Primaris Inferno squad. Going to say hello. There was a Clusiarch, a Chaplain with a jump pack, Throws on a big shout at the Sword Brethren. But they don't mind just staying there for a little bit. They're planning to pound that listing post into submission. The Space Marines attempting to get away from the Fire Support Squad, getting to the heavy cover so they can open fire with plasma pistols of their own. And it's a very unclean fight, I do have to say. No one's really coming out unscathed. The Ecclesiarch is dead, or the Ecclesiarch, whatever you call him. He's down and out. And the Black Templar seem to be getting the upper hand in this engagement. Double frag missiles going into the flank of that Skyweaver, but even the Skyweaver not taking too much damage going on here. And the Harlequins just quite happy keeping with the Skyweaver meta at the moment. The Mimes, much like the Tau's stealth suit teams, they can get their plasma fusion guns, or whatever you call them, to do anti-vehicle and building damage. So kind of like the Raven Guard in a way. You know, they're capping early game unit, providing that AV later on. It'll take a while to get through the Deliverance Guild, attempting to get a Librarian Codicea, if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, the Skyweavers with their Rainbow Coalition of bullets. Not killing that anytime soon. But Shadowseer, moving through the mist. It's got some wicked spells, buffing and debuffing, that can help with this push going on. The Scouts, once again, being pushed back. We've got some Raven Guard, stealthy people coming in. Oh, a Veteran Vanguard squad. Used to be the main meta for the Raven Guard a little bit way back when. Spawned those a million times, but their damage output and their cost have decreased and increased respectively. And there are the Primaris Fairness. If I can get a hashtag on these guys. Powerful flaming units. That's not a situation anyone wants to stand in. Problem is, though, they're going to get a little bit too close to use their weapons, and the Emperor's Champion of the Black Templars doesn't mind it when people get into close combat. He's got the sword, he's got the board, and sending them back from whence they came. And Librarian Codicea getting some psychic damage on these guys. Shadowseer running away as best she can. A mask portal, going for a couple of bards, no less. I don't think I've seen a bard before. What does a bard do? Can I see one? Ah, you're the bard. You're the bard who's not too hard. What do you do? I'm sorry, we're probably missing out on some action here, but I really need to know. I've seen about 4 Harlequin games in my time. Courage for Harlequins, heals pain for the wounded, increase my health. Oh, you're basically a blooming apothecary. Right, okay, fair enough. That is what you do. As a rough summary, I'm not spending my life reading. Reading's for nerds and people who can read, and I'm neither one of them. I'm an audiobook man, gosh darn it. Long may that reign. Yeah, this is a tough match for the Black Templar here. Can't really get close to the Raven Guard at the moment. And the Raven Guard are just basically soloing this. Banked by Daddy Vulcan. I mean, one well-funded player is more than capable of fending off 2 regularly funded enemies, I suppose. Some more Vanguard veterans coming forward. And good lord, they're just holding the line. Jetpacks akimbo. They've got the heroes. And the Salamanders are slowly building up a fighting force. They've got their anvil. And they've got a couple of land speeders on the way. Land speeders have been nice, cheap alternatives. Can break through the buildings without necessarily needing the support. And if they come into trouble, well, they'll just jump backwards. So, perfect little couple of units to bother the Black Templar while their armies are fighting far away from home. But that is a deadly wombo combo of units. Castellan increasing the speed. And the Apothecaries keeping the boys alive. Sky Weavers were quite useful earlier on. I'm not entirely sure how useful they're being now. Harlequins ready to jump in. And the Vanguard veterans, I don't think they're actually enjoying this close combat. kind of situation going on. Doing their own little shouty thing. Silent shout, mind you. The Vanguards aren't too pleased with it. It's pure melee, really, from Team 1 here. I suppose there's only so many times you can shoot guns at people before they inevitably catch up with you. Problem is, though, is that the guys can just run away. That's why you really need a decent amount of ranged support when you're going for a melee heavy build. And then some very chunky looking land speeders coming in and say, right, well, just like the Salamanders of old, there's some Eldari knocking around, set fire to them. Good night, sweet prince. While the Black Templar try and clean up the rest of the Raven Guard buildings, taking care of the building over here. The Harlequins also capturing the relic as well. And there we go. Harlequins have been beaten back, but the Black Templar are still laying it thick and heavy inside their base. And the Raven Guard not going to go back home. They're going to start doing some shenanigans somewhere else. Land Speeders also the same kind of situation. And look at the size. I mean, I'm not saying that size matters, boys and girls, but look at the size difference. Good lord. And there's 4 of them as well. So they've got the numbers on their side as well. Black Templar now going to go back away, seeing if they can defend from some stuff. Got a land speeder inside the base. Dear oh dear. Spent way too long being aggressive.
Show me what needs building.
No, and they don't really have much to show for it, in all honesty.
The machines.
I mean, I suppose that they've knocked the economy down a fair bit. But they are about to lose all their production buildings. And no matter how strong your economy is, if you've got no production buildings, your money means nothing. Shadow Sea in a bit of a bad position. We'll have to run. Oh no, she's not running, she's going to continue the charge. Brave woman she is. And the Skyweavers still knocking around, but they're not coming to their own defence here. Someone needs to do something about this quintuplet of land speeders. Harlequins continuing the dance of death. Marines attempting to be built up to rebuild their stuff. And the veteran Vanguard squads, well, they can run away. The Harlequins can also just jump after them. The cooldown on jump is a little bit substantial, but not terrible neither. Good lord, it's mesmerising to watch these boys and girls dance the dance of death. I do quite like how the Vanguard veterans need no fancy kill animations, just bop them across the noggin. The Black Templars struggling mightily, cancelling that orbital relay. They do have the Crusaders with the last cannons, got the range and quite a sizable amount of damage. One Landspeeder Tempest brought down low. They could take out all these Landspeeder Tempests. It might open up the Salamanders to a bit of a counter-attack. They're putting all their eggs in one basket, but mighty fine eggs that they are. Baltier Roshan also throwing down Landspeed off those rockets as well, so 2 are dead. The numbers are dwindling, and the Raven Guard are lacking in resources and military capacity. Gonna pool their resources together for the moment. And Yang Wenli just saying, you know what, I like Skyweavers. I'm gonna just keep on building them until I win. Just keep on chucking on. There's nothing wrong with this. And to be fair, yeah, it's a good strategy. It's doing the job. No one singular push has taken down the Raven Guard or the Salamanders, but a constant application of pressure and these sneaky mimes. I mean, it's probably quite hard to infiltrate yourself while covered in glitter, but they're doing it. And all the speeders have been kaput. Got one Tech Marine on the back lines defending his corner. You can't put Baby in the corner, but you can put a Tech Marine in the corner. Shadow Seer has been finally bonked there.
It is done.
So that is something. And the Black Templar now going to go back home for reasons. They've done the damage, and they're thinking, right, well, just in case getting counterattacks, let's go back home.
Yes.
Harlequins getting in. Go on, give us a jump animation. And we could follow. Oh, okay, fair enough. They are pretty there. Do quite like them. Yeah. Shame that I can't have the graphics on full blast, as it is a 2 versus 2. If any of you are struggling to get your games working, do remember that there is a link in the description below to help you figure out the graphics, and if that video doesn't help you, then by all means go on to the Unification Discord for tips and tricks on how to fix things, because I'm not a techno wizard. Yeah, I think death by 1,000 cuts. Oh dear, oh, they've been spaffed on. This is not good. They can jump out of the way though, so that is something, but they are locked into position for now. The Raven Guard have had enough. Dentist says no more, and so too does this chap on the bottom side. So what absolutely remarkable game. Lots of teamwork from both sides. Did really, really like how at the beginning when the Salamanders had absolutely nothing to give, all they had was money, and so the Raven Guard themselves just said, right, hold on brother, I'll hold the line. If you give me the pennies, I'll give you the pounds. And yeah, pretty much held that game for the majority of it by himself, but just wasn't enough to really keep on top of these guys. They teched up, they got the big stuff out. The Harlequins with their fast attacking, the Black Templar with their stalwart ability to get stuck in and hold the line and not die as quick as the Harlequins, and those beautiful, beautiful las cannons on the Crusader Fire Support Squads, taking out those zippy and zappy land speeder tempests from the Salamanders. So there we go, so cheers boys and girls for watching at home, and if you want to support the channel, have a look at the old Patreon. £1 above gets you one game a week, and there's also a Discord where Discord things happen. Links in the description as always. As with Mr. Landshark, pleasure's always never short, and I'll see you in a bit. Peace.